Welcome to my channel English Stories Hub. Every morning at exactly 6:30 am, the small diner on Maple Street smelled like burnt toast, cheap coffee, and quiet hope. Jake Miller pushed the door open with his shoulder, his 5-year-old daughter Lily half asleep in his arms. Her curls brushed his neck as she murmured something that sounded like a dream mixed with hunger. Jake smiled despite the weight in his chest. Mornings were hard, but they were theirs. Jake was a single dad, widowed too young, working 2 jobs and still counting coins at night. Construction by day, delivery by night. The diner was their daily stop because coffee was cheap and the owner sometimes slipped Lily an extra pancake. Jake always sat at the corner booth, back against the wall, eyes scanning the room out of habit. That was where he first noticed her. She sat at the far end, near the fogged up window. Thin coat, worn shoes, hands wrapped around an empty cup as if warmth could be imagined into existence. Her hair was neatly tied, though strands escaped, framing a face that looked tired but dignified. She couldn't have been older than 40, yet her eyes carried years heavier than Jake's. The first morning, Jake did nothing. The second morning, he noticed she ordered nothing, just hot water. On the third morning, Lily slipped from his arms, padded over, and stared at the woman with open curiosity. "Daddy," Lily whispered loudly. "That lady looks sad." Jake's face burned. "Lily?" But the woman smiled, a small smile, fragile. "It's okay," she said softly. Her voice trembled like it hadn't been used much. "She's right." Something cracked in Jake then. He stood, walked to the counter, and paid for an extra breakfast. When the plate arrived at the woman's table, she froze. "I didn't order this," she said. "I did," Jake replied, forcing a casual shrug. "Too much food for us anyway." Her eyes filled instantly. She laughed, a quiet broken sound, half disbelief, half relief. "You don't have to." "I know," he said gently, "but you're gonna eat." From that morning on, it became routine. Jake helped her every day, sometimes breakfast, sometimes coffee. Once a scarf when winter sharpened its teeth. He never asked her name, she never offered. They spoke in fragments. Weather, the price of gas, Lily's school stories that ended with ha 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 laughter. Some mornings the woman wept silently while eating. Some mornings she smiled and told Lily she was brave. Jake never pushed. He knew what it was like to be one bad day away from breaking. Weeks passed. The diner staff noticed. Customers noticed. Some smiled. Some judged. Jake didn't care. One morning Jake arrived late. Construction ran long. When he entered, the woman wasn't there. Lily frowned. "Daddy, where's our friend?" Jake didn't answer. His chest felt hollow. The next day she returned. Her coat looked cleaner. Her posture straighter. She thanked Jake, voice steadier now. "You saved me," she said quietly. Jake shook his head. "Nah, you saved yourself," she smiled, a real one this time. But behind it, something unreadable flickered. And then, one morning, 2 men in dark suits walked into the diner. They weren't there for coffee. Jake had no idea that the woman he helped was about to turn his quiet life upside down forever. The suits stood out like oil stains on linen. Sharp shoes, crisp collars, eyes that scanned the diner with purpose, not hunger. Jake felt it before he understood it, that uneasy pull in the gut. Lily clutched his sleeve. The woman by the window stiffened. Her spoon paused midair. For a split second, fear crossed her face. Then something else replaced it. Resolve. The taller man approached her table. "Ma'am," he said politely, though his tone carried weight. "We've been looking for you." The diner went silent. Even the grill hiss seemed quieter. Jake stood halfway from his seat. "Is there a problem?" His voice surprised him, firmer than he felt. The woman looked at Jake, really looked at him. Her eyes shimmered. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. The men turned to Jake, assessing him like a puzzle piece out of place. "Sir, this doesn't concern you." But it did. Everything about her did now. They escorted her outside, not roughly, carefully, respectfully. The door closed behind them with a final chime that echoed too loud. Lily's lip trembled. "Daddy, did we do something bad?" Jake knelt, hugging her tight. "No, sweetheart. Sometimes grown-up stories are complicated." He didn't see the woman again for 3 weeks. Life returned to his rhythm, but something was missing. Jake still bought an extra coffee out of habit, then stared at it, untouched. Lily asked about her less often, but when she did, Jake had no answers. Then one afternoon, Jake's landlord knocked. "You got a lawyer looking for you," the man said, confused. Said it was urgent. Jake laughed. A short, nervous ha ha ha. Must be a mistake. It wasn't. The office downtown smelled like polish and money. The same taller man stood when Jake entered. Mr. Miller, he said. Thank you for coming. Jake's palms sweated. I can't afford. This won't cost you anything, the man interrupted. In fact, quite the opposite. The door opened. She walked in wearing a tailored coat, hair neatly styled, confidence woven into every step. The woman from the diner was gone. In her place stood someone powerful, wealthy, familiar, yet entirely new. Jake couldn't breathe. I wanted to tell you myself, she said softly. My name is Eleanor Hayes. The name hit like thunder. Jake had heard it on the news. A missing heiress, disappeared for years after a legal battle. Presumed broken, maybe dead. She continued, voice trembling now, not with weakness but emotion. I lost everything, my family, my trust in people. I hid because I didn't know who wanted me for me and who wanted my money. Jake stared, shaking his head slowly. You were that woman? She smiled sadly. I was. And you helped me when you thought I was nothing. Tears spilled before Jake could stop them. He wiped them roughly, embarrassed. Eleanor stepped closer. I didn't ask for help, you gave it anyway, every morning, no cameras. No praise. She slid a folder across the table. Jake didn't open it. I didn't help you for this, he whispered. I know, she replied. Her voice broke. That's why it matters. Outside, the city buzzed, unaware that two broken lives had collided and changed course forever. But Eleanor's gratitude came with a decision that would test Jake's heart more than poverty ever did. Jake didn't sleep that night. Lily curled beside him, warm and trusting, while his mind spiraled. The folder sat unopened on the table like a dare. Money scared him. Not having it had taught him how fragile peace could be. The next morning, Eleanor waited outside his apartment. No suits this time, just her, holding a small paper bag. I brought muffins, she said, smiling nervously. I remember Lily likes blueberry. Jake laughed despite himself. A soft ha-ha-ha escaped. You didn't forget much, did you? They sat on the steps while Lily played with chalk. Eleanor told her story in pieces. How she'd been betrayed by family. How hiding felt safer than fighting. How mornings at the diner reminded her she was still human. You reminded me, Eleanor said, voice thick, that kindness exists without contracts. Jake swallowed hard. I want to help you, she continued. Not as charity, as gratitude. Jake shook his head. I don't want Lily growing up thinking people owe us. Eleanor nodded slowly. Then let me invest in you. She helped him start a small business, legit work hours, time with Lily. Jake fought it at every step, pride wrestling with reality. But Eleanor never pushed. She waited, listened, learned. One evening, after Lily fell asleep on Eleanor's shoulder, Jake saw it. Not pity, respect. Years passed quietly after that. The diner closed. Maple Street changed. Jake's business grew. Lily grew taller, louder, braver. Eleanor became part of their lives, not as a savior, but as family. One night during a school play, Lily scanned the crowd and waved wildly. Daddy! Aunt Ellie! Jake felt tears rise, not from pain this time, from gratitude so deep it ached. After the show, Eleanor pulled Jake aside. Her hands trembled. I'm leaving, she said. His heart dropped. Leaving? Just for a while, she said quickly. There's unfinished business. But I wanted you to know. You saved my life long before I saved yours. Jake shook his head, smiling sadly. We saved each other. She hugged him tightly. For a moment, the world felt unbearably quiet. As she walked away, Lily asked, Daddy, people don't disappear forever, right? Jake kissed her hair. No, sweetheart. The right ones always come back. But Jake had no idea that Eleanor's final gift would arrive when he needed it most. The call came on a rainy morning. Jake stood by the window, coffee cooling in his hands, watching Lily pack her school bag. The phone buzzed. Unknown number. Mr. Miller, a familiar voice said. It's Eleanor's lawyer. Jake's chest tightened. She passed away peacefully. The man continued. Last night. The room tilted. Jake sat slowly, the mug slipping from his fingers, shattering. Lily ran to him, frightened. Daddy? Tears came freely now. No shame. Just loss. Weeks later, Jake and Lily stood in a grand hall that felt unreal. Eleanor's final wishes were read. Scholarships, shelters, quiet kindness spread like echoes. Then came one final envelope. To Jake and Lily, the lawyer read. The family I chose. Eleanor had left them a home, not a mansion. A warm place near Maple Street. And a letter. Jake read it that night, voice breaking as Lily listened. You never knew who I was, yet you treated me like I mattered. Teach Lily that the world is cruel sometimes, but kindness always leaves a mark. When you help someone, you change more than their day. You change their story. Lily wiped her eyes. Daddy, will we help people too? Jake smiled through tears. Every morning, sweetheart. Outside, rain softened into a gentle drizzle. Somewhere, a diner bell chimed in memory. Moral of the story is true kindness needs no recognition because its impact lasts longer than any reward. When we help without expecting anything, we often change lives in ways we may never see. Compassion given in silence has the power to rewrite destinies, both theirs and our own. And kindness lived on. Thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel, like, share, comment on my video. Bye guys.